Hi, my name's Tom Smith. I'm part of the library team here at Blind Low Vision NZ. The one thing we're going to be talking about today is the iPad accessibility. Considering it's pretty much just a sheet of glass, it does host quite a big array of accessibility features, and I thought we'd just take a look at them. Okay, so in order to get to the accessibility features, the first thing you need to do is just go into Settings on the iPad. And on the settings, it used to be in General in here, but now it has its own special area called Accessibility. And what it does is that it divides it up into 4 different categories. So we've got the accessibility features divided up into vision, physical and motor, hearing, and general. Probably the big one to sort of talk about, and probably really the whole video in itself, is VoiceOver, which is the built-in screen reader. And as a non-disabled sort of user, the important thing to get across about VoiceOver is that it's really popular and it gets used quite a lot. It's very hard to get your head around it if you haven't used it before or you're not familiar with it. Even if you are a screen reader user from a PC or a Mac, say if you're using NVDA or JAWS, which are very sort of keyboard driven, VoiceOver is very gesture driven, so you're having to learn a whole lot of new gestures and controls to even do the same things. So even transferring information across can be sort of like quite tricky. But in that, it's got some really sort of like powerful features to be able to, obviously you can do things like increase the speech rate, but there's not a lot you can't do without VoiceOver.
VoiceOver
Very impressive service that you've got. As well as speech, there's also magnification, which is under Zoom, and probably the most way that people actually use this is by having a full screen type of magnification. And you can turn it on and off by using a 3-finger double tap to turn it on. And in order to move around, use 3 fingers to move around the document. And you see here there's what's referred to as follow focus, so that if you were reading along, it would actually follow you around the screen. Another popular feature that's used quite a lot is the display and text size. Here you can make the text larger. At the moment it's set to large text, and even within the controls of the settings, you can increase the size a little bit. And then by activating this button here, you have access to even more larger sizes to make things a little bit easier to read. And then this setting will then flow through all of the other apps that are available. And also, as with other main sort of magnification features, you can also put on inverting colors, so they can have white on black rather than black on white. And now they've recently incorporated what's called classic invert, because what would actually happen with the inversions before was that all the pictures would invert as well. And with the smart invert, what it'll do is it'll invert the text so that it's black, so that it's white on black, but the pictures won't invert, so you can still see all your family all as they intended to. Also, another control is you've got spoken content. Speak selection, if you have this on, means that if you select text, it can then be read out loud. It's quite handy for if you just want to sort of read out a small piece of text, but it's a feature I haven't seen used a lot, but it is actually sort of like available. And then of course you've got audio descriptions, and so what this will do if this is switched on is that if the audio description is available, it will automatically turn it on. So that's a very brief summary of some of the vision controls, and I think the important thing that I really want people to get across here is that there are some incredibly helpful features that are built into the iPad that people can use to access services such as Overdrive, BorrowBox, and Libby as well. And so these features can be used in conjunction with that. And in later videos, I'll be spotlighting on one specific app, and then using these features with that.